I need to give this disclaimer. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for March 23rd, 2022. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com. We're going to scroll down and look for the Zoom banner. If you would like to be part of Cathy's SRC4u Daily Energy Clearing Group, the information's here to register. Now, when you become part of the Daily Energy Clearing Group, Cathy works on you every day. And the purpose of the Zoom call is to demonstrate the software. It's basically teaching you how to use the software when you purchase it. So we're going to go on in. It's going to be a live call, so it will be loud. You may want to lower the volume on your speakers.
Okay, so here we are. It's 10 o'clock. Now, you see, we're still going from yesterday. I did stop it so we could do more work, but we did have a very high power yesterday with this one also, and we're still going. And the one thing we want to definitely do today, I want you to see this 95% benefit of a sustenance balancer work. And that, I keep playing with this app. This Pro Tool, I think it's got a lot more power to it than we are aware. And this is our scan. You make it a little bigger here. And so if any of us, and I would be one of them, that are not consistently taking the enzymes, we probably need to reconsider that. And what you can do is you go through your sustenance balancer, you can send yourself a code for this, which is what we'll do. But then you might want to test yourself to see if you need to purchase and actually take some enzymes. And then you can see the other things we've got here. And again, tapeworm, we're working with the subtle body. This might be symbolic of something draining our energy. And we got some other interesting things in here. So that'll be going on during the day. But this sustenance balancer, if you get time, is a very powerful addition. And we're going to have to some point look at nutrition more closely, I think, even though I certainly am no nutritionist. But I was telling people before we got started, yesterday I had a drop-in person that ended up staying, oh my goodness, it was like, 8:30 at night before they left. And I was happy to see them. I wasn't unhappy. But, I had my work, and so I just sat here with the computer on my lap, visiting and listening. And, you can't really do a lot of SRC itself work when you are doing that. So what I ended up, because, you got to be in a little bit of a piece. So I ended up going back in. You notice I didn't send a note out yesterday because I ended up going back in and I went down the grab-avoid list for these three areas because we've got a lot of work to do still. And we're starting with the brain, which is our powerful computer. And so I went down grab-avoid just to add a few more things. We had started talking about the connections between the neurons and the fact that anytime you learn something, you get another connection, which is pretty exciting. But at the same time, this is basically a major part of our reality creation because different pathways form in our mind, our brain, literal brain, based on perhaps programming, perhaps just what we, chosen to allow, etc. But anyway, I added a few things, and I just want to show you quickly. And then I'm just going to send all three of these out. We did, and I'm headed it spirit willing, body not. In other words, we know what to do. We just may not have the physical ability if we're drained and not well to go forward. So here's just a few things added that weren't in what I was originally going to send out. I don't see anything jumping out at me. You can look at this yourself. But the grab-avoid list, if you are trying to work on protocols, if you have the time, which it ended up I did yesterday through incredible synchronicity, you can certainly go in and go down the list and see if anything grabs you. And then this clearing non-beneficial couplings, in other words, pathways really is what I would call it. Let's just see, is that something we want to do at this moment in time? Because that's the whole deal. Yeah, we do. Let's go in here. Well, let's just first see, do we want to do that through the recharger or the yes therapy? Okay, we're going to go with the yes therapy, but let's also look at the Gong. Look at that. That's actually, we can put that right in here. And remember, at least what I've read is we've just done 80% of it just by the awareness. And then you've also got deprogram non-beneficial pathways. Yep, look at that. So we'll take that too. Let's see. That's a little higher, but let's go in here. This is what we're asking for the Pro Tool, the premium window. Let's look at the, how about the timeline? Let's see. Look at that. Thanks to Sharon for reminding me to use this. Okay, so we have, oh, there it comes. I've just been going down to all time here. Let's just get it started. And these gaps in our pathways might be interesting to investigate, see if we need to balance anything.
What are neural couplings?
And I just call them pathways. The book, the Owner's Manual of the Brain, refers to it as neuronal couplings. It's where your neurons, one neuron connects to another through a synapse or synapse, however you say it, and you form a path. It's like you're walking through the woods and you've got a path which takes you all around, all kinds of wasting time, but it's the path, so you follow it every time. They say that we form these paths in our brain. And so, in other words, the information that comes in will go a certain route. And since we're surrounded by apparently all kinds of information, sometimes it's not real beneficial, the path you end up taking. Does it make sense?
Yes.
And so we can go in now. We've got this new list. And we could probably make a cocktail out of it at some point. Let's just see right now. Priority for Qi. synapse. Yeah, just to see if we want the information. That's where, if you can stand it, nope, we don't need it. If you can stand it, try to read things that are the very opposite of what you believe. And it can be extremely upsetting. But then we get into the adrenals, and I went ahead and put this statement up here. And again, quite a few things added from the Grabavoy list. So often, we've got all this bipolar. So often, that's not what it is. It is adrenal shutdown. Chemical sensitivity, chronic anxiety, all these can be symptoms. Trauma, when we're going to go down and look more at trauma in the third category, you get the idea. All these things that can connected to, and again, there's a dissolving of some patterns that might lead to that. Some of your neurotransmitters, we have a scan for that also. Look at some of the other things. This is a big one that we're working towards giving some more attention to clear, but your money trouble can really stress your adrenals. You'll see with adrenal stress, you get a few more infections. There's the burnout, another symptom, the digestive problems going on down. Look at the malnutrition. It's amazing how many people come up with that. With negative relationships contribute to all that. Many of us are very acid. This is what we're really looking for, just the energy to get what we need to get done. Pollutants, premature aging, we sure don't want that. When you're sick all the time, very often that's a sign of your adrenal stress. That kind of lowers your energy. We have been doing this discarnate work. The adrenal stress can lower your shield on that, so on and so forth. So again, a lot more codes were added. Let's just see, for example, and I don't know about the group, if we need this or not. Let's just see if we do. Just recharge, because not all stress is negative. So let's just look and see if we even. Yeah, we'll take it. So let's go in here. I feel like putting in here, wait a minute. Let's just put in here resistance to non-beneficial stress. Not long, we've taken a little bit of a nudge here. Anyway, I'll send this out and you can work with it as you're willing to work. But then this last one, this trauma, and that kind of is what happened yesterday, is the person who was here was talking about all the trauma she has been through in her life. And so again, as she was doing that, I was looking at the Grabavoy finally and adding some things. We know that we can do this right here. Supposedly, a crisis is a recalibration, and you can take it as that. You can look at it. It's certainly not easy when it's your personal crisis. It's a lot easier to tell other people that, but it could be a recalibration to get a person back on path. A person could be out of alignment. Gratitude, all is well. Anoint happiness and dump grief. There's a lot of course anxiety. We want to attract good. Again, repeated trauma, especially childhood, could really mess up those pathways. Or on the other hand, it could awaken awareness as to a person's power. Peaceful birth trauma is a big deal. You want to send the blessings instead of trying to return any energy that's not positive. This is one of the big things, and Neville talked a lot about the soul as our ability to not just choose. I mean, even an animal can choose which food they want to eat, etc. We as humans are said to have the ability to actually choose what we want to manifest. And I love what he taught, was I've seen it work for so many people, that when you go to bed at night, whatever it is you wish you could manifest, imagine it happened that day. And if you read that little book, Awaken, yeah, we all need to do it more often. That's where I think, for me anyway, the ego steps in. The now I'm tired, but if you'll just lay there and picture it, it can be amazing. So anyway, this buried pain is a big one too. Let's just look at that for the group, and because so often that's throwing us off in a significant way. Let's just see where we are with that. Now remember, the code is a good thing. Buried pain, that's not what we're talking about. We're saying, is it a good thing to receive this code? So, okay, so we're taking that. Let's just see. And then with the 99, that perhaps is a chronic, and it would be probably for almost everybody on the planet, some form of it. So let's see if we want to add that today to the sustenance balancer. Nope. Shen. Yeah, we'll take the Shen. But anyway, you get the thought. Childhood issues, big deal. Clear destructive childhood stories. Clear post-traumatic images. That is the power we have when we picture it in our mind. And that a lot of that happens even with the media now. They talk about these things. They show the images. We picture it. That's what creates it. Clear undesired memories. Clear transgenerational trauma. You're familiar, for example, with miasms. Complete healing. Get the lesson out of it if at all possible. Dislodge past wounds. Dissipate the pain of betrayal. And then just a few more in here for this trauma. And this trauma stress was a big deal a while back for the group to clear. We did quite a bit of work with it. We'll see, here's again that fractured soul. Gather any lost soul fragments and reunite them now with their souls. There could be some discarnate activity, heal soul damage, relationship trauma, heartbreak, consolation. I learned from my mistakes. This might be interesting too, to identify when a person has a fear, identify what it is. Then you don't want to dwell on it. You just want to be aware. I love this one, incredible comeback beyond human imagination. We've seen it over and over with people in their life stories. Of course, it's going to impact your immune system. We want joy. We want to laugh. Limitless blessing sounds pretty good. Maybe enhance our love life. Move out of fear-based reality. Neutralize victim consciousness. Never lose confidence. New beginnings. There's all kinds of things. New hope. We asked for that the other day. This is interesting. This is the way Grabavoy likes to talk. Normalize all negative information and events from the past. Interesting. Remove bad luck permanently. I thought I'd add it. Remove from poverty. Remove health problems immediately and permanently. Repair higher vibrations. Because maybe this is why things they say happen in threes, because we have a trauma and it lowers our vibration. Repair self-esteem, resurrect self from disaster. This is a big one, the self-forgiveness. Let's just look at that while we have it here. Huge. As almost any form, according to Grandmaster, of attack, and unfortunately it's coming from us. Let's just see if we want to get that any more balancing.
But did he tell you what we need to be doing that we're not doing?
Well, I think for me, anyway, an awareness. Be aware of how hard you may be on yourself. And, of course, I think the SRC is phenomenal. The EFT, I still haven't done it myself as far as part of my daily routine. But they say if you could make the EFT every day, just a quick, it takes, what, a couple minutes? And you can go into YouTube
Faster EFT.
What's that?
Can you check out faster EFT?
Yes. There's all kinds of approaches, and that one is a real good one. The idea is, for me anyway, you have to decide what you want to tap on. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I don't end up not doing it, even though I had a miracle when I did it before. So these are all things, that might be a little ego deviation there when you just don't get to it, even though, and look at here, for example, stuck in old beliefs that do not work, repeating the same problems. This could be all to deal with the pathways. We're almost done with this list. This is an interesting one. Wants to die. And that's a very interesting, I must have been meant to mention this because I had two people yesterday that basically stated they figured they were going to die. You got to watch your words on this stuff and your thoughts, because what happens is most of the time we really don't mean it. We may say it, but we actually like it here better than we're aware. So I added that in just because of what happened yesterday. Let's see if we want to clear any fears that steal our peace. Yeah, look at that, 100%. My goodness. Let's see if we want to do it through the recharger.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's one way. Let's look at the yes therapy. Well, the yes therapy is even higher. So, and you can do this yes therapy while you're driving, while you're doing, any other activities that might put you in alpha, and it's powerful.
Definitely. I just shared that with the lady yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Let's take that. And this is an interesting one too, because this is what a trauma does. It just throws off our frequencies so much that we just get more of the same. Let's see if we want to balance today any of that. Okay, it doesn't look like it's a priority today. That's good. And let's see if it's a priority for Chi to do this entire trauma scan. Oh, 91%. Let's do it. See what we come up with. This is such a long list, we're probably going to have to do an Excel spreadsheet. Well, maybe not. If you're not comfortable with this, you can always just paste it on a Word document. I think we can quickly do this. So look at that. That buried pain is the top, and we're already looking at that. Birth trauma, significant. We would like a little more joy. This is interesting. Clear undesired memories, and one way that might be effective is to stop talking about them. We want alignment, transmute conflict into harmony, repair self-esteem, attract good, stuck in old beliefs that don't work, and we'd like a little more charisma. How about that? Let's see what time it is, Tim. I don't want to keep you too long. You do have a list of stress from birth trauma, I think, right? Did I send that out? Does that ring any bells?
I don't have it.
I would like that.
Yeah,
I don't think I have that one.
okay, I'll find it. I've got it. I
Okay,
can
so
send it out. And so, okay, so we've got some stress. This is, somewhat good thing to receive this code. This is for the group. And let's just see. And it is chronic. It would be. That would make sense. So let's see. First of all, if we just want to add it to the sustenance balancer codes. Nope. Shin. This would be a great EFT, for example, if you do your individual scan and it comes up. Okay, but we'll take for now the shin.
What would that look like, Cathy? Would you just tap the number? What would you do if you did an EFT on that?
Well, I just pulled up. I'll bet you anything, if you type it into YouTube, you'll find one to follow right along with. And that's what I would do. But you could simply type in the code. You could just say clearing all birth trauma. It's so interesting the different ways you can go.
Yeah.
There's a couple people, that Brad Yates, I don't know if he's still doing them, but he's got some old ones on there that for some reason I really like. I look at them, I just need to start doing them because we're amping up the joy. We're going all the way up to the 102, but that is certainly going to help. Clear undesired memories. And we all know this in the group, but it can't be emphasized enough that you got to stop talking about it. And it's pretty hard to tell anybody else that. You just have to tell yourself, because they become highly offended if you say they need to stop talking about it. It looks like it's something that a person has to come to on their own. And again, we're going to go all the way up on that one. We want to be in alignment.
So Cathy, what do you say to someone that is the kind of person that talks out and then says they feel better?
That what? Talks it out and then feels better?
They talk it out with people and then they feel better.
Well, everybody has their own way to go about things. Talking it out is great, but I haven't actually seen personally a lot of success with people that keep talking it out all over and over, because the words create. And yet I had a bad experience many years ago, which stayed with me. I had a lady I just really loved, and she was a powerful empowerment coach. And when people wanted sessions with her, they gave her $1,200. So she was very successful and very powerful. And yet she would call me and complain about her life like nobody's business. You have never heard anything to compare. And finally, one day I said something and it ruined our friendship. She was so offended.
Wow.
And so that makes me very uncomfortable with that. And so, again,
I say tap it out.
yeah, I think the tapping would be phenomenal. And just watch, work on your own self. And chances are what we notice in somebody else, we're doing ourselves. But yeah, that was a very big disappointment that I didn't obviously put it right. Now we got a little stress here with transmuting conflict into harmony. Let's just look at that. What have we got in here? Why don't we put that in the Reiki? Let's also see where we are with the timeline. Okay, so what you can do, let's just go in and look again. Run that a few times. Two hours. But in awareness, again, let's just see if we want that in the sustenance boundary. Nope. We have it in the Reiki. Let's just see if we want the Shin. Yeah, we'll take it in the Shin as well. You know, this group knows not to underestimate the energy coming from the Shin and Gong. So, of course, repair self-esteem. If you look at the fact that there are no accidents, a lot of times the traumas a person has gone through, that makes them who they are. And so that would be another, way to look at it. But sometimes it does the opposite. It damages the self-esteem. Again, we've got a little stress with that one there. And that'd probably be a good EFT as well. Let's just see. And we'll take that one in the sustenance balancer. So depending on how you want to go about it, you want it in all that stuff. All right, let's just start with that. Again, on a very subtle level, on the yang, we're looking at the I've got to go over that article Kevin sent. That's so interesting about the pericardium and the relationships and the emotions it's really talking about. With that's huge, you see.
Where's that article, Kevin?
Yeah, I sent it in our notes a while back, and I'm going to look it up again too, and I'll resend it today.
Oh, great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it comes up so often. Now, this is our yang. Here's our yin. And again, we're going to just balance it out, but it's information. The pineal, that's always something to think about. Kidney, bladder. Let's go ahead and balance. Let's see if we want to, if that's in there. I don't know that it is. No, so that will add to the list.
What do you think,
Okay,
Cathy?
so we're going to start as a 1 minute, but then we'll double check that. What were you saying, Ron? Attract, good. Which again seems to be all tied into those pathways, whatever term you want to use for them. And this is what happens with trauma. You get stuck into old ways because you may have created that series of connections between the neurons.
You know, when I think about that, Cathy, I wonder if that has anything to do with anybody dealing with dementia.
Well, you know, it's hard to say. It's interesting thought, though. We're sure we see. I read something the other day said everybody who lives long enough is going to have Alzheimer's. But I have to tell you, I have a 91-year-old friend that is amazing, absolutely amazing. And she worked right up until the COVID thing, and the restaurant let a lot of people down. She's still looking to go back to work. She says her work is her service. She's amazing. So, and the one thing she does, she is always learning something new. And it's funny, a lot of times she'll bring me a big stack of books. Hey, read these and I want them back. I don't know how she gets it all done. But now, for some reason, we want a little charisma. Let's just see where we are with that.
That's like with me too, because we have an elderly lady where I live here. She's 91 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's as bright as can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I laughed at her one day. They had a big book sale down on Central, $1 a book, all these books. So I emailed her and said, do you want to go? And she emailed back and said, I already have more books than I can handle, and I have a bunch I'm getting ready to bring you, and what time do you want to go? So she has stayed young. Let's go down here and just make sure our polarity is on target. So you can go down to the very bottom, as you know, and just go priority for chi. And then if you come up with a higher number, that could indicate a little polarity stress at this moment in time. Yeah, we'll take it. So let's douse that in, soul recovery. And that's our ability, from what Neville Goddard says, to picture it and create it. And we'll douse that in. Now, of course, what I'm doing here, and go next and see, I'm going to go up all that stuff. If the request for minutes gets higher, I'm going to do it again.
You know, Raymond Grace thinks the same way.
About what?
See it and believe it.
Well, you know, we know this. I think all of us here know it. But we have really been conditioned not to quite accept it. It sounds a little, you know, that idea anything is possible. I think on a lot, maybe one level we know it, but on another we may not think it applies to us. I don't know. Yeah, he has accomplished amazing things with that dowser, clearing water, etc.
He's very fascinating. There's no doubt about it.
Well, but to me, the key is he shares it. And that's, you know, we all can go out and share what we know. And it may or may not be well received.
And 2 classes from him, and what he teaches is totally amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the main thing he says it's all your intent. In other words, you imagine it, you visualize it, and it'll happen.
Okay, so we're taking 6 times of this code, as in the Tesla philosophy. Let's look at repair higher vibrations, see if it's a priority at this moment in time. Yeah, look at that, 88. So we have a little stress, it looks like, related to polarity. Let's see. Yeah, no, not really. This SRC, what we're doing will balance the polarity, but meanwhile, let's go in here and look at repair higher vibrations. Okay, taking a pretty good number there. Still, this is something we'll continue to work on. Actually, that is a very good one for the sustenance balancer if we want it. A lot of times, if you have a situation where someone is really struggling, you can just go in and focus on this. Yeah, look at that, 98% benefit. So we'll be adding that one to the sustenance balancer. And I don't know if I can put it, I don't think I can just. Remind myself and work with crisis as an opportunity to grow. And again, I forgot to put priority for chi. Let me do it. This is an interesting one. Remove from poverty. And that may be an example of the real pathways. You know, the people, I know they've said, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that once a person goes on any kind of welfare, it pretty much travels down the family line then. Has anybody read up on that?
Yeah.
It's not completely true because I know in my sister's side of the family, one is doing quite well, the other one's on welfare. So,
but what I'm wondering, we're just a hair here removed from poverty as a. Let's just go ahead and. What I'm saying is, when a family goes on welfare, what I've read, which of course I don't know, I'd have to look deeper. They pretty much stay on it and all go that route.
I've seen a whole bunch of exact opposites. There was a gal that wrote a book, and she got way high up in a corporation, and her parents used to have to move all the time, and they get their stuff out of trash cans. And both parents, they were pretty. So I actually know a lot of stories where there's always somebody within the system that actually goes the opposite direction.
Well, one of the ladies in the tapping summit, I can't recall her name. It was started with an I. She was that way, and she was amazing. So I agree with you. But I wonder if we know of those examples because they try to share, but I still wonder the other extreme, are there many situations where that isn't the case that we might be able to work with? I'm just thinking.
That may have been a political statement also.
Which one?
That once family is on welfare, it continues.
Yeah, it would be interesting. That's why I was very careful in saying it, because we know people need help. And I know personally friends who have taken some short-term help. But it would be interesting to if we can find any information, if anybody has time for that, do they start a pathway that the government will take care of them? is that a possibility?
I also think we're in such a neat time of flux where we're we're merging out of all that kind of old patterning. So I actually have really positive vibes about all the different shifts that are going to happen in that arena. So I think it's a dying paradigm, I guess.
I agree with you. I think a lot of it is because we've got access to information and we're learning as we go. That's my belief anyway. The information's there and we already know what we can do if we, work together, even with our thoughts. So let's see where we want to go here. Good old WonderClick. And we're pretty much all set up, so we'll just let this continue. As you recall, a lot of stress with the stomach earth element. There's a lot of mention of that. And this is what this will do. It'll give you the keys. If you go in here and look, it'll repeat and you'll get an idea. So I guess that's it for today, but if anybody has time to look that up on the government assistance, it could be political or not. And it would be interesting to see, and we'll go forward. Everybody have a good one.
Have a good day.
Bye, Cathy.
Bye.
Thank you.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call demonstration on the software. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well. And this is the video disclaimer. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.